Welcome to the AP Sports Pod. It's Andrew Pasquinelli coming at you bright and early from the Bay Area. Actually, it's not even bright and early. It's dark and early. It is at what time? We're at about 4:45 a.m. Saturday, September 16th. Our Westgate Super Contest picks are in with my buddy Filthy McNasty. You can see that on the YouTube channel and Nexus Sports. And now it's time for the Circa Million selections, which I go rogue. I go solo. And let's start it off with a recap of last week's picks. We went 3-2. So I went 3-2 in everything I played. I play on pregame.com, the Like Super Contest, 3-2. I do a pool on Run Your Pool platform, went 3-2. With McNasty in the Super Contest, 3-2. My Circa picks last week, 3-2. So 3-2 across the board. It's a solid week. It's probably not good enough to win any contest money, but it's could have been worse. Could have been worse. So let's take a look at it here. First game, Tennessee Titans, 3-point dog against the Saints. Thought the Titans kind of got robbed for the outright win. I'm also on the Titans over win total and to make the playoffs. So that was a big one to not win. But I like the 3 points in the cover on the contest play. I just like the Titans. I think the Titans are tough. I said this last week. The Titans are tough. They have an identity. You know what you're going to get. They're consistent. They're not great. Their top end isn't super high, but they play consistently tough all the time. You might see them again in a little bit for this week's picks. We'll see. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the 49ers. That was a blowout from the get-go. The two losses you see on here, the combined score was 70-7, so I wasn't sweating those out. Those were not even close. Pittsburgh had no chance in that game from after about the first 5 minutes. It was ugly. And as a Niner fan, cool. I thought the Steelers would put up a fight. I actually thought the Steelers would win that game. It wasn't close. I was wrong about that one. Game number 3, Dolphins and Chargers. The Chargers just find ways to lose games. They went anti-analytics. All right. So Brandon Staley loves analytics. He's like the guru of analytics. And I think he went against his analytic best judgment late in the game against the Dolphins. Instead of trying to go for it on 4th down and ultimately get a touchdown or run out the clock more in the 4th quarter, he kicked a field goal. They went up 4. The Dolphins got the ball back, scored a touchdown, missed the extra point. That's where the field goal that the Chargers did kick comes into play because they had a chance to win the game with a field goal if they could get in a field goal range and they couldn't get it done. So, loved that pick. Loved the result. I'm on the Chargers under 9.5 wins. It's my biggest bet of the season on the futures. So, cash that one. Entertaining game. Cat and mouse. It was close. The cover was in doubt, but ultimately we got the result. Giants in Dallas, similar to the Steelers-Niners game, blowout from the get-go. Giants had a good first drive, and then everything fell apart. That was a blowout. Complete mismatch on the offensive and defensive lines for the Giants and Cowboys, respectively. I don't think I recall ever seeing just an absolute onslaught of a pass rush like that. That was bad. It wasn't close. It'll be hard for me to unsee that as a person that supports the Giants more than most. And last but not least, Jets +2 against Buffalo. You know, I thought this line was ridiculous. I think the Jets probably should have been favored. And then 4 plays into Aaron Rodgers' Jets career, he gets hurt, and you're thinking, oh well, this one's done. And the Jets find a way to battle back, and the Jets find a way to win the game. And so clearly, the Jets were the better side in this game. They won the game without Aaron Rodgers. Nobody's picking the Jets. Nobody is picking the Jets if they know Aaron Rodgers isn't going to play. And they won. And had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. So we're 3-2. You may see some of these teams again here momentarily as we go for our week 2 picks. So let's just go ahead and fire that up and take a look at them right now. Look at that. There you see it back in the top spot. Now, these are not like rankings. I think these are These are just based on how Circa has the teams laid out in order. So Titans at the top again. I love this. The Titans are playing in their home opener. I like the way they play. They're getting points, and they're going against the Chargers. I kind of have to take Tennessee. The Chargers offense does scare me a little bit, but you got to be scared a little bit on these picks. You have to be able to pick against teams that you think are pretty good. And I think a lot of people think the Chargers are good. I'm not as high on the Chargers, obviously, as other folks, but you got to have a little nerve in some of your picks. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to go 5-0 every week, because we know it doesn't happen that way. So give me the Titans in their home opener, +3 against the Chargers. I think Eric Kendricks, who was the biggest acquisition for the Chargers this offseason, the linebacker from Minnesota, fantastic player. I don't think he's playing. I think you're going to get a lot of Derrick Henry. Bam, 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 bam. And if Tannehill can cut down the turnovers, much like the Vikings issue right now, Kirk Cousins, if they can cut down the turnovers, I think they win this game outright. And I'm not sure it's close. Pick number 2. This one, I'm sounding the alarm for, because I hate this pick. This is the most uncomfortable pick of the week for me. I'm picking the Bears. Oh my God. The Bears stink. I can't stand the Bears. I'm not buying any of the Bears hype. I've got the Bears. I doubled down on the Bears under 7.5 wins this offseason. I hate the Bears. But they're playing Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay stinks too. And so this is a play on line movement. Last week, prior to playing the game, so before we had seen any regular season NFL action, the Bears were favored in this game by 1.5. Do you think what we saw last week was worthy of a 4-point adjustment in this matchup? I don't think so. So I think we're going to get a better version of the Bears. And I don't think Tampa Bay played that well to begin with. Had it not been for a couple Minnesota turnovers, they probably lose that game. So I think there's value here on the Bears. I think they might be the better team. Yeah, they're playing on the road, but Tampa Bay, is that really that big of a deal? I don't know. Is it going to be raining? That might help. That might help the Bears anyway. Who knows? I'm going to take the Bears, even though I hate this pick, because I think the Bears stink. I love this pick based on the line movement analysis and a subscription that I buy from a person that I trust that had a great week 1 and historically does really well in the NFL. Only has 3 sides on their card. The Bears is one of them. So I'm going to go with the Bears. Game number 3, Kansas City at Jacksonville. Now in Circa, Jacksonville's only laying 3 points. Kansas City's only laying 3 points. Why do I like Kansas City? Are they going to start off 0-2? I don't think so. Is Chris Jones on the roster? Yep. Is Travis Kelce more likely to play? Yep. And I think that's a big deal. Do they have extra time coming off of a mini bye? Yep. Those are all reasons to like Kansas City. I like Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's a solid team. I think Jacksonville's a playoff team. I think they played 2 times last year, and both of the games were fairly competitive. The playoff game was very competitive. And so I think there's reason to like Jacksonville in this game. I just don't see Kansas City going 0-2. And for that reason, I think they might throttle down a little bit more than they typically do. I think Kansas City kind of picks and chooses when they really want to put up their A game plan or not. I think this will be one of those times. So when I'm going through the list, it's like, all right, which dogs do I think can win outright? Which dogs do I think the line is just too high? And then which favorites do I think can win by margin? 7 points, 10 points, something like that. I think Kansas City is one of those teams this week. And in Circa, it's only a 3-point spread. In Westgate, it's 3.5. So I don't have to lay as many points in Circa. So I'll take Kansas City -3. My favorite pick of the week is the Jets. Everybody's off the Jets. Let me tell you this. I saw this game last year. Last year in week 1, Dak Prescott got hurt, and the Bengals were going to Dallas in week 2. Right? The line went crazy. The line, because Dak was hurt. So the line went from like pick 'em or something like that to Cincinnati being favored by a touchdown. The Cowboys won the game outright. And why did they win the game outright? Because their defense is good. So forget about Aaron Rodgers. Forget about Zach Wilson. Let's look at the Cowboys offense against the Jets defense. I don't think they're going to score very much. I don't think the Jets are going to score very much either, which is why you've seen the total plummet. And what I've learned over the years and listening and tracking some of this stuff, when it's a low total and you get a big spread like this, you take the points almost every single time. So bottom line for me, I don't care who's playing quarterback for the Jets this week. 8.5 points is too much to give that defense against any team in the NFL. And I don't think Dallas has an elite offense. So how do the Jets stay competitive in this game? They've got 2 good running backs. Give them each 20 carries. Run the ball 40 to 50 times. Throw the ball 15 to 20 times. Hopefully in those 15 to 20 pass attempts, Zach Wilson doesn't have a turnover, whether that's an interception or a strip on a sack, or he scrambles and fumbles. No turnovers. Great defense. The Jets have a path to win this game and certainly cover 8.5 points. So this is my favorite pick. It might be a little bit of a contrarian pick. I don't know. This line, Westgate's dealing 9.5. Circa's dealing 8.5. So I think Circa expects late money, big money to come in on the Jets. So we'll see how the line closes. Again, the contest lines don't move. This is what we get, but we can look at a little closing line value CLV. And last but not least, Broncos minus 3.5 versus Washington. I was on Denver last week in a couple pools. Lost. I'm not deterred. I'm going to come back on Denver, playing at home, minus 3.5. I don't think Washington's good. Washington struggled against Arizona, and there's a reason Arizona can be competitive in that game. They're going to go into Mile High, or whatever it's called. Denver historically has a tremendous amount of success week 1 and 2. They've lost last week. So law of averages is they're probably going to win. I think they're the better team. They're playing at home. 3.5 isn't a great number to swallow, but I just don't think Washington's very good. Period. The end. So I think I get a pretty good team, which most people don't agree with, against a pretty bad team, which I think does have the consensus. I'm just going to swallow the 3.5, even though, you'd like it to be 3, you'd like it to be 2.5, but there's a reason it's not. So give me Denver to cap off my Circa Million V week 2 selections. Just to recap on there, give me Tennessee +2, Chicago +2.5, Tennessee +3, Chicago +2.5. Kansas City as a favorite on the road, -3 at Jacksonville. Jets +8.5, my favorite pick. And Denver -3.5. Good luck. I'm going to be up on here every week, holding me accountable. I'm tracking them, trying to win this baby. It's time to go 5-0. Let's go.